All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got the James brand The County in Walnut with me. I got this from Thunderbird Gear, and it's a beautiful shop in Canada. You can check it out at this website. And, the owner, Steve, just a great guy, really, really easy to do business with. So check it out. He has some exclusive brands for Canada. So let's get started. So it comes with a nice box, like wooden box over here, and also has a felt pouch with the logo over here. This is your guy. So first of all, let's just do a quick size comparison. All right. So we have some traditional blades, like for example, this is your Arno Bernard wrinkles. As you can see, more cutting edge and a little bit longer handle. This is something bigger. This is your Lethier from Fontenil Pateau. Nice traditional blade, and also like your Opera from Lion Steel. So as you can see, not a big boy. Up against some more common blades, like you got your PM3 over here, PM2, sorry, over here. And what else? Let's just do a Benchmade 940 over here, just to give you an overall idea of the size. So let's get started. So visually, this is a beautiful knife, like closed. It's pretty sexy. Very, very great design. I like it. It has been designed in Portland, US, but it's made in China. And I appreciate, the overall vintage look. These round lines over here. It's quite symmetric, and it reminds me like of those vintage cars, like from the 20s, where they had, very, very tall, like chassis kind of thing, and very elongated with this oval kind of shape. So yeah, very, very interesting. This is walnut edition, so you can get this with different finishes. I thought the wood would give that warm look and nice contrast with this satin steel. You have like no finger grooves in the handle, just this nail nick over here. And overall, it has been like rounded pretty nicely. It's like chamfered pretty well, I have to say. There's no like inner chamfering over here, like in the inner part of the liners. It's not sharp, but it's not like super round. Just a little bit of jimping going on here, which is useful. This is it's a slip joint, so there's no lock. You just have a spring in the back, but this blade doesn't lock in place. You have your T6 screws over here just to remove the pivot and to disassemble the knife. As you can see, the screws are a little bit different. It's like almost like a matte finish, which is different than the satin finish of the back over here. The hardware is not protruding. As you can see, it's flush with the handle. The pivot is not captive, and yeah, this assembly is gonna be pretty easy. There's no pocket clip, as you can see, but this makes like as an ambidextrous knife, because you can, if you're a lefty, you're gonna have no issues with this one. The lanyard hole over here basically steals a little bit of area in the handle, and so you see this chunk here is just occupied by this space. So the handle blade ratio is not gonna be optimal, but still, I mean, it's not like completely unbalanced. You can see blade is a little bit longer than it should be, but it's all right. The blade is centered in this one, so good job. And oops, if you open this guy, you can see that the blade is a 12C 27, like over here, right there. That's like a date code. And it's a 2.5 inch long blade. The stock is relatively thin. I mean, not too thick, but it's thick in the tip right over here. So, you know, it gives some nice prying properties to this little guy. The grind is just a full flat grind. You know, you have a nice profile for a slippy. You have like this straight edge over here with a nice belly right at the end. You even have your sharpening choil. There's no finger choil, of course. You have, you know, little nice plunge grind going up here. The edge is overall symmetric. I don't see any like disproportions in the edge. So they sharpened this one nicely. You have a little bit of jimping going on up here. Not like super functional, but still it's going to give you some traction. There's no thumb ramp. The blade up here, the spine is not crowned, but it's at the same time not that sharp. No swedge, no fuller, just like a, you know, pretty simple look to this blade. And the billboarding has been kept minimal. So you have just your James logo over here and the steel and date code on this side. The only way to open this one is with your nick. In fact, you have just this relief over here to place your nick. Just put it out. So that's the only option you're gonna have. So regarding the sound, it's interesting because when you open this knife, basically for the walk right here, it's almost inaudible. You have a little bit of grinding. I mean, I wouldn't say grinding. It's just like this is running on washer, so there's washer rubbing against the liners, and you have like a very imperceptible sound. But when you open it, it's a rich sound. It's pretty loud, almost like a percussive clack, which I like it. It's very, very interesting. When you close the blade, you have a pretty loud and piercing clank. It's very, very strong and sharp. I mean, it's like a sharp blast. So very, very interesting. It's not subtle. It's not discreet because it's loud. But it's pleasant. It's a nice frequency, I think. Let's check out how it feels in the handle. It's very, very light. It's less than 2 ounces. When you hold the knife, there's no hot spots in the handle. No sharp edges around. You know, when you have the blade closed, the only thing is this one, which, you know, this spot here, it's a little bit sharp and, you know, subtracts a little bit from the design because, you know, imagine if this would have been completely flush, it would have been better looking and would have avoided this little sharp corner over here. Jimping, as I said, it's not like 100% functional, but gives you a, you know, feedback, and you know that, you know, that's where the blade starts. And not having a lock, it's important because, you know, you can do something like that. So it's better that you know where to stop your thumb from, you know, pushing, because if you slide it down, you know, you might create this issue here. The grip overall, it's pretty smooth. You know, it's a short handle, so it doesn't, you know, you have like basically probably 1 or 2 fingers left out because, you know, it's the nature of this small blade. So there's not really like a choke up option for this one. And the solidity, yeah, not having a lock. Again, you have to be careful of you know, pushing too much down with your thumb. The walnut, it has a nice texture. It gives a warm feeling to the touch. And I appreciate that. It's a mixture of modern and traditional, which creates a pretty nice contrast, in my opinion. The fit and finish, it's not perfect. As you can see, you have, you know, small gaps between, like here in the back. Like, as you can see here, on this side is perfect, but then it opens up a little bit like that. So, and also over here, it's not like 100% even. Like on the top, it's good here, but then you can see the gap over here. Also, there are some like very, very faint scratches. As you can see, this one, this came like from factory like this. So I would say, you know, it's not a biggie, but still you can see that there's some fit and finish issues. Here sits flush. I don't feel any step or any lip around here. Maybe just a little bit of burr over here, but nothing too crazy. There's no blade play, so it's solidly built. And when you open the knife, you have to use your nail nick over here. So the deployment speed is gonna be kind of slow. It's not gonna like create any finger sore anywhere. But the smoothness, I mean, the walk and talk of this guy could be, I think, a little bit better. Like if you see, you know, usually like slip joints with no lock, they tend to have a half stop. And this one has pretty much, you see this range of action in the half open position. For example, if you take the wrinkles, you see, the spring is just making so that the blade always stays like 90 degrees in the half stop position. So something to keep in mind, for example, like the Opera, you know, is a lock back. So there's a lock, therefore there's no half stop, okay? But in this guy, there's no like definite half stop, but there's no lock back. So something to keep in mind. You know, it's pretty snappy, like the opening action, it's snappy. There's not really like much kickback when the blade snaps into the open position. And also the blade sits lower than the scales over here, so there's no risk of your fingertip, you know, touching the tip of the blade. And overall there's no rattling because there's no like moving parts, so it's well put together overall. The feeling when closing the knife is very, very nice. I like it. It's just a, you know, beside the sound, it's pretty strong. You can hear the plane passing by, of course, and you can feel this the strength of the spring in the back. So yeah, very, very interesting overall little knife. So there you have it. This was my review of the James brand the County. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.